Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman by heading over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Hey everyone!
Hello!
Welcome to another episode of Hypecast!
Hypecast.
Show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I am your other co-host, David Bell.
And who are you, sir?
Oh, I'm Daniel O'Brien.
Hello.
I'm a host of nothing. I'm a guest who's very happy to be here.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
We're happy to have you.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
yeah.
It's, so I live in New York now, but I'm briefly in town in Los Angeles. Doesn't matter why. And I started and then deleted several tweets that were just going to be, hey, I'm around if anyone wants to do a podcast. I just like doing podcasts, but I felt too embarrassed to just say that. So thank you so much for being the only one of my friends who invited me on a podcast.
Yeah, man. If you're ever around, you can just text
Yeah.
and be like, I'm going on your podcast. And
We would have
figure
taped
it out.
like 5
Yeah.
if I'd have known that was the case.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's good to see you.
yeah.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to see you. It's been a minute.
Has been several minutes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of movies have come out. I
A lot of
miss
movies coming
talking
up.
to you guys about movies.
I
every day.
know.
Well, what's been some of your favorites?
Spider-Verse is so top of mind.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
far as how good it is. I loved the score for it, and I had to see it a second time because the first time I was so caught up in the visuals. I'm just looking at it and just be like, yeah, that's great. Make that a painting for me. Oh, that looks good too. Make that a painting. Spider-Man crying in the shower. Give me that. I want all of these. And then the second time I was like, now what are these pretty characters talking about? I can follow the actual characters and plot better.
Yeah.
And it was still very, very good.
It's great, yeah.
I have no complaints with that movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's a delightful film.
Definitely one of the best movies of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of like blockbuster films, I've had a really good couple weeks because we also saw an early screening of Aquaman.
Oh yeah, is that really bad?
No,
It's really great.
yeah,
No.
I think Monday we have a podcast on it, but it was like, it's surprising in ways that I didn't think it was gonna be.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
we just we left the theater just so joyful.
Yeah,
Great.
it's ridiculous. Like I want to say, I guess dumb, but not even. It's just a fun movie, and I actually recommend it. I was surprised by that.
I'm gonna see it because I see almost everything
Sure.
I possibly can in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was never a version of this universe where I was like, I'll pass on that Aquaman movie.
Right.
With that giant, beautiful mountain man.
Oh man.
Did you guys see The Favorite yet?
No,
No.
I really want to.
I fucking love The Favorite so much.
Was it? I did not like The Lobster.
I liked The Lobster. I didn't see Killing of a Sacred Deer. It's, I think, way more accessible than The Lobster.
Okay.
It's really straightforward. It's very, very good. I mean, if I'm making assumptions. I don't know why you didn't like The Lobster.
My issue was that it felt like it could have been a short film. It felt repetitive. It was like the whole time I was watching, I was just like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Like it was that.
I think that movie got really strange for me when he left the facility and was just like living in the woods for a while. I was like, oh, so it's a second movie now.
Right.
There's more
Oh,
going
there
on.
are 2 movies.
But yeah, I'm gonna give The Favorite a chance because
love it
it
so
just
much.
looks so good.
Oh yeah,
Very, very
I mean, we talked about the trailer several episodes ago.
We
and
did.
That trailer I was like, I have to see this. It's a period piece that's also like a weird comedy, and also like there's some sinister shit, I guess, in the
Yeah.
trailer. Looks great.
All that.
Yeah.
It looks great. Yeah. So I guess let's get to the trailers that we
trailers
have
of today?
for this
Yes.
week.
Hellboy.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Do you guys have strong attachments to the source material for Hellboy?
I like a lot of the source material. I'm not like super. It's not super precious to me.
I asked because I have no affiliation with it whatsoever. I have no fondness for it. Never read it. Never consumed any of the originals. And so I've just been very curious. Why are we making another Hellboy? Why do we need to do this?
I don't know.
I was surprised we made it in the first place because I didn't think it was that popular and it just didn't seem interesting to me. And they made a second one, like fine. And now they're remaking Hellboy with a different actor. I was like, who's been asking for this? Who's sitting around wondering why we haven't gotten Hellboy right yet?
I don't know.
I'm very confused about this because I thought the first one was like, it was something I never needed because I wasn't a fan of the comics. And I was just like, oh, that was a fun film. That was a lot of fun. Got some cool supernatural Nazi shit. I was excited for the second one because that was when Guillermo del Toro was like a director.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, I can't wait to see him now have the power.
The second one is definitely the good one.
Yeah,
the
and
better of the two.
the practical effects are gorgeous in both films. I don't know why this movie
I'm not
exists.
as somebody who read and enjoyed the comics, like the visual style is most of the comic. It's drawn by Mike Mignola, and he has a very specific style that's a lot of shading, and it's kind of noirish, kind of horror-ish.
Right.
Guillermo del Toro definitely was the right person to turn that into a movie. So this one doesn't necessarily have the visual look of it, but there's a lot of, like, I recognized a lot of storyline references and stuff in the trailer from the comics that will be fun for people who read them.
This one felt more generic to modern films.
It does, yeah.
Like, and that might just be the trailer. Like stuff where like the text at the end, like it all looks so cookie cutter.
Yeah.
I like, what's his name who's playing Hellboy?
David Harbour.
Yeah.
Always happy he's getting work.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That's the main reason I'm like, sure. Like,
Yeah, I'll see that.
but it does feel like, hey, let's make another Hellboy, but just not as unique as the others. Because Ron Perlman, he was great.
Yeah, he's great. And you get, with Del Toro, like his style is so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I think the makeup doesn't look as good.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. I think he looks too like gritty. Like they made him he looks like old or something. It's weird.
I don't know. I didn't get that, but
I liked the first one because it's kind of cartoony, the first film, and I didn't mind that because of the content of the film.
yeah, and it's very colorful. And he got his fishman friend.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think they made this movie for the same reason they made the next trailer on our list, which we don't have to get to right now.
No, let's get to it though.
Okay, which is
it?
Men in Black International. And I think the reason why, and I have nothing against either of these films, I think it's just because they're like, hey, we could do one of those. And they're like, sure.
That's how I felt watching this trailer too, is that I didn't feel very connected to the original Man in Black, not even in terms of like a direct continuation of the story that had been happening.
Yeah.
It just felt like a completely different world and vision and like understanding of what make Men in Black movies cool.
Right.
So much so that they, at the very end of this trailer, they use a clip from the original trailer.
Yeah.
Where the guy says, we are the Men in Black.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that's Don LaFontaine, who is dead now.
Dead guy, yeah.
Who's been dead for many years.
The only difference in this is...
Still cashing that check, Fontaine family?
It's again, it reminds me of the Hellboy trailer where it feels like a little grittier.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like they aren't allowed to make the world more kid-friendly anymore, at least visually. It just looks like slightly darker.
Yeah, it did seem like it took itself very seriously, and I was just struggling to remember what the first... I didn't look it up, but what the first Men in Black trailer was. I remember it feeling...
I remember.
Not this serious.
It was them shooting the alien ship down.
Right, the very first trailer was just a sequence of a saucer crashing in front of them. That was all. And then the first trailer definitely showcased like the weird aliens and the effects, but it was more leaning on comedy.
Yeah, I remember that trailer because they were showing, they're like, how there are people in your life that are weirdos or something like that, and they were showing some of the aliens, but they also showed David Cross's character. I was like, he's not an alien.
He's not an alien. It's just David Cross.
David Cross.
Of course, I'll see anything that Tessa Thompson does for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Until the sun explodes. I don't know. It didn't get me super hyped. This trailer didn't get me like.
There was.
I understand why they're making this movie now. It deserves to be made now.
It's just Men in Black for the new generation of young people.
It looks like the exact same plot. It's like I'm a new person coming into this, and I'm going to be surprised about all the cool tech.
Yeah.
With the more serious sidekick situation, it felt like even when they showed the Men in Black International headquarters, it's just the New York headquarters.
Yeah.
They just redressed it, and it was like, well, are you going to do a single original thing? It just feels like an extension. I don't know.
Just make different movies. Make original movies.
Yeah, or like have a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, I thought
this feels like they're just tacking on another.
Yeah, there was almost a great joke when he tells
that?
her to press the big red button, and she presses it, and just the emergency lights come on.
Yeah, that was a good joke.
That's the joke. Stop it there.
Yeah.
But nope, then the car takes off, which is the same thing that happens in the first movie.
It truly feels like a cart before the horse kind of movie where someone jokingly said, I guess we could probably do another Men in Black if we wanted. And then, like, Tessa Thompson's interested. Chris Hemsworth's interested. Great. Well, now this movie's definitely getting made.
Yeah.
Well, is there a script?
Well, now we got a movie.
Know why we're making it?
Yeah, we'll whip one together.
Yeah, we'll figure one out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think if you're going to do something like this, because we've talked about before with, like, the Lego movie was a movie that didn't necessarily need to exist and then turned out to be a delightful film. And I think in part because they're like, okay, we have this brand. Now let's just do whatever with it and let's go nuts. And they need to do that more with stuff like this, where like they need to almost not care about the fans, because what Men in Black fans are out there who care?
Right. What
it's like,
rabid fans are going to be like, now hang on a minute.
Like they're like, okay, well, we're going to use the Men in Black title. Let's do something crazy with it, because why not?
Which would be cool. Like I feel like I've been a downer on like movies needing to justify themselves with this and Hellboy, but I'm not saying we should stop making Hellboys or Men's in Black. I just think there's a different way you could do a Men in Black movie. Like what can we do after we've saved the world 3 times and traveled through time? Just do it bigger, I guess. Like now we'll do Men in Black in London. It was like, I don't know, do smaller. Do like a smaller weird do a part of the country where Men in Black is needed, but it's like the middle of the fucking country and they don't really have that agency there. And
right.
Like, how are other people dealing with aliens that are just sort of like outside of the purview of the Men in Black? You could still set it in that universe and do things. Like you could just set the rules. Aliens exist, and also a government agency that I guess mostly kills them exists.
Yeah. They just fucking blow them away.
Some things that, I mean, this is pretty cliche, but still be more interesting. Do an origin story. Do the
origin story.
Do the original first Men in Black, or what you're saying. Do Men in Black Ohio, where it's just.
I mean, fuck Ohio, but Men in Black somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely.
Just somewhere in Middle America, where it's like. It's just a smaller scale. Do something different. I think that's what it is. Is that
do Men in Black gets outed publicly? Like, don't make Tessa Thompson someone who has been tracking this organization because she wants to join it. Make it someone who's just like, I don't know if what you're doing is right. So I'm spoiling all this. I'm like you are a government organization that now the world knows about, and I bet there's some pretty interesting follow-up events that would happen from that.
Both this and Hellboy, that's the issue, is that it just seems like they're making the safest version.
Yeah, it's just the same movie again.
Yeah.
People like Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth, let's put them in suits and have them shoot aliens.
Yep.
Fine.
Okay.
What am I mad about?
I mean, I don't know. It's
I guess we're spoiled. I don't know what it is.
Well, because we're older. Like
that can't be right.
Well, as you get older, like time moves more quickly.
Yeah,
so it's
and also you've seen a lot more. Like if I was a kid and hadn't seen the other Men in Black, I'm sure this would be great.
Sure, like in my memory, Men in Black 3 just came out.
Right.
That's not true.
Right?
No. It's been like 8 years, I think. Like
I don't care for that.
So it's stuff is just like fresher in our memory is as I think is one of the issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like imagine all those parents who were watching Star Wars and it came out like, this is just fucking Flash Gordon, you know?
Right.
Or, you know, like whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Well, speaking of films
don't care
for
that.
Things, we can move on to Greta.
Greta.
This is a thriller.
Sure.
A girl who finds a woman's purse on the subway and goes to her house and finds out she has a bunch of other purses.
It's just a nefarious friend trap.
Yeah, just been trying to catch friends.
Trying to catch daughters.
What is this woman's goal? She's just
to catch a daughter.
Catch a daughter.
Bro.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Gotta do it
very
with a purse.
It's very. It feels like a very '90s thriller. It's very like single white female,
Right.
cable guy.
I get that vibe, but I don't think it looks particularly good.
No, it looks very bad.
I always appreciate movies like this getting made because it seems like modest budget film for adults, which I think are like the hardest movies in the world to get made. Jason
Absolutely.
Reitman was talking about this on a Bill Simmons podcast. That just like nobody wants to give me money to make the kinds of movies that I want to make. I want to make these like talky adult drama things,
Right.
Yeah.
with good actors and they cost money, and it's hard because nobody seems to want to see those movies anymore. So
Yeah.
I just really appreciate anyone who is still making movies for adults, I guess. And this one is an attempt at that. It's not like just scare porn version of thriller or horror. It's a thoughtful thriller. It just looks bad. It just looks like it was made poorly.
Yeah.
Ideologically, I really like it.
Right. I have one optimistic theory, which is the one comment I made was that she's like, "Oh, where's the wine or something?" And she's like, "Oh, it's in that cabinet." And she opens the cabinet, it's filled with dummy purses.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, what kind of psychopath easily puts their purses out there for people to find? This is my optimistic theory, is that it's a double twist movie. There's something more that they're not showing in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason the trailer's bad is because when a movie is strange in some way, it's really hard to make a good trailer for. So my very optimistic guess is that we're not seeing the whole picture in this trailer, and it's a better film than it's letting on.
Without that, they certainly give the game away in the trailer.
Yeah.
The woman is crazy. Chloe Grace Moretz finds out pretty early and is like, "Stay away from me, crazy lady." And then the crazy lady doesn't stay away from
Refuses
her at
to
all.
stay away
Right,
from her.
and
And there's even a scene where in a restaurant where she like smashes a glass, flips a table over, and tries to like charge Chloe Grace
T-1000
Moretz.
her.
She's like,
Yeah.
"You need a mother. Everyone needs a mother. I will be your mother." And the whole restaurant is like, "You're the crazy one." So it's like,
Right.
"Well, you've given the game away, lady."
Yeah.
Right. It's not like Cape Fear where it's like, "Oh, no one will believe me."
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, that's clearly an
Oh
insane
no,
woman."
you lost your fucking mind.
Yeah. This
in
movie is
public.
10 minutes long. Just
Yeah.
Remember when that nutty French woman flipped the table and chased Diane around? That's fucking nuts.
was
Glad we
wild.
called the cops and put a stop to that.
We did the correct thing by calling the police. Yeah, I wish they would.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think this movie looks bad, but I definitely get and agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I
And I
watched-
wish they
There's-
would make more of these.
What's that that very British scandal movie? Is it Notes on a Scandal with Judi Dench and Kate Blanchett?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
And I know it came out like 10 years ago maybe, but it's one of those things, and like I'm really happy that you guys figured out how to make this movie, because it's not a big marketable movie at all. It's just like a
Right.
very serious and sad real adult story with like very local stakes for the people involved in it, and I'm just thrilled when movies like that get made, because it seems so rare, and like even watching it, like, man, you spent a lot of money to make this movie,
Right.
Yeah.
and you must have known you're not getting it back.
They still sort of exist. Sometimes they're straight to streaming.
Yeah.
Because every now, like, it's that thing where you
Like
go on
Outlaw
streaming and
King.
you're like, "Oh, John Travolta made 6 films this year. What are these?"
He's racing speedboats now.
Yeah.
He has a different hairpiece in each one.
Yeah. Yeah, I just watched The Spanish Prisoner. That was another case of being like, I miss serious adults just talking in movies. But there was that.
Tom's right about earlier. We are getting older.
Yeah.
I doubted
Yes.
him, but now that I've heard these things that I said,
Yeah.
just sitting here,
Really
I
dating
don't know.
myself.
horny for another Notes on a Scandal.
I don't know. I used to, like, when I was in my 20s, watch The General's Daughter anytime it was on TV, because it was like, oh, sweet, General's Daughter.
Sweet General's Daughter.
I just watched Alex Cross this year, I believe. That was great. I loved that. I mean, like, there needs to be more, but like there's that Aaron Paul one. What's the Aaron Paul one we covered?
Oh,
He's
it's
like-
like Welcome Home or something.
He's like going that seems like one of these.
with the bad guy from John Wick 2.
Oh, there's the fucking crazy the one with the boat and kill my wife or kill my husband.
What?
Yeah, it's the Matthew
Overboard.
McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yes,
oh yeah,
Overboard.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's got McConaughey and I think Anne Hathaway
Yeah.
and
Love
freaking
Anne
Jason
Hathaway.
Clark.
I wish I could remember the name of it.
Yeah.
And can we talk for a second? Jason Clark is getting fucking work. That
He
guy
is.
around.
He's another. This was a joke that made it into an After Hours script, but like he's like a Kevin Bacon in in the sense that his presence in a film is no indication of whether or not it's any good.
Yes.
Like, they run the spectrum.
He's
we were
like
watching First Man, my brother and sister-in-law, and he just pops up in that movie, and we're like,
Oh, that guy.
you've been busy.
I feel like every casting of him, he's not a bad actor, but I feel
he's
like
not.
it's every producer like, okay, so we got Jason Clarke unless we find someone else. Like he's ready, he's good to go.
Yeah, which I don't know if you saw First Man, but it's Ryan Gosling, Claire Foy, and then 900 different varieties of a Jason Clarke type character actor who
Nice.
could go at any moment. Like
That's
Ethan
great.
Embry is in that movie and doesn't say a word. I saw him and I was like, wow, it's
Wow.
Ethan Embry.
Really?
And then by the end of the movie, my brother and I were watching and I was like, I guess that wasn't Ethan Embry because surely they would have had him say like, have fun in space or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they would have given him a line so they could pay him a different rate of just being featured background. And then the credits, sure enough, Ethan Embry plays one of the NASA scientists who doesn't go to space.
That's,
Doesn't say a single word in this movie.
Might have cut his line or something. I don't
yeah,
know.
it might have been what's his name in World War Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why else would you cast an Ethan Embry?
Right.
If you're not going to use it,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you're not going to use him.
Lucas Haas is in it too. He plays like
Really?
like third spaceman who goes to the moon, Mike, and doesn't get to go on the moon. But for a long time, he just sort of like gets abruptly introduced in the movie. It's like, Neil and Buzz are going to be going with Mike. Is that Lucas Haas? And then he just sits quietly for like 20 minutes. I'm like, they're not going to give Lucas Haas a word either. This is crazy.
I know he shows up in a lot of movies because he's friends with people. Like I believe that's the reason he's in Inception is because he's friends with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
That's amazing.
So he's only in the very beginning of Inception.
He's in Widows too, which was great. I love
Really?
it.
Oh, I
need
really
to
want to
see
see
Widows.
Widows.
Yeah, he shows you his butt in Widows, and it's not great.
Sweet.
He has sex with a very tall woman. Bad look for him. Don't do it, Lucas.
Don't do that, Lucas
Don't take
Haas.
this movie.
Don't do that, Witness.
All right.
Sorry,
What the hell were we talking about?
We're talking about Greta, and we went
Oh,
in
yeah.
the right direction.
We
I
went in
think
the
that
correct
was
direction.
a correct
I think
tangent.
Jason Clarke is making those movies.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a movie like Chappaquiddick.
Oh yeah,
I want 10 of those.
Sure.
Yeah.
Give me all the Chappaquiddics.
the whole Chappaquiddick
The whole
cinematic universe.
Chappaquiddick cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Give me all those.
Chappaquiddick International.
And that movie he made with Alexander Skarsgård and is it Keira Knightley?
Are we talking? Wait,
That's the one where Skarsgård might be a Nazi and is having an affair with Jason Clarke's wife.
just saw a trailer for that where it seems pretty clear that Alexander Skarsgård and Keira Knightley have sex with each other because they're supposed to because they're beautiful. And Jason Clarke is like, no, don't.
Yeah.
It's that movie.
and he chases them through the forest.
Yeah.
that sounds delightful.
Quick question. Alexander Skarsgård, bad at acting?
No.
No,
I think he's in bad movies sometimes, but I've seen him be excellent in the thing that he won the Golden Globe for. What the hell was that? Not Pretty Little Lies.
Yeah, not Small Little Lies? No. You can't Petty Little Lies?
no, that's the one. Yeah,
Is it Pretty Little? No,
It's
because
not.
I'm mixing
Pretty
it up
Little
with Pretty
Liars.
Little Liars and
And I also would always trip myself up and say Sharp Little Objects. 'Cause
Sharp-
those things remind me of each other.
oh, Sharp Objects was also excellent.
Yeah.
What is the name of this?
All right.
Pretty
Little Liars.
It can't be Pretty Little Lies.
I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out right now because I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
It was a series,
With a
HBO thing, like
Skarsgård?
Nicole
Big
Kidman?
Little Lies.
Big Little
Lies. They're not pretty.
Lies.
They're big.
They're big.
Oh, got it.
He's super fucking intense in it.
Yeah. All right. I didn't see that. I know.
It's good.
I should. Yeah.
It's
I
good.
think the very first time I tried to watch it was at like 1 a.m, pretty drunk. I was like, "This is not my vibe right now. This is
No,
a lot of gray shots of the beach. Can't do it."
You need to be able to pay attention to that show. No, yeah, I think we had the same. I think you asked me the exact same thing about Bill Skarsgård when it came out. You're like, Bill Skarsgård, bad because
I think
Hemlock
bad,
Grove.
because Hemlock Grove. Yes.
But then he's like, no, he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good in Castle
And
Rock.
Castle
he didn't
Rock
have
is
to
good.
do much in Castle Rock, but he was good.
I think Skarsgård is Alexander Skarsgård is a very watchable actor. I think he's got a very dynamic look to him, and he's like this big hulking monster of a person.
He's definitely good when he plays bad guys.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
he's so intense.
I think he was actually really great in that very bad Netflix movie, Mute. And he didn't say anything, but I always think characters who don't say anything are very compelling. And
if you pull it off right, yeah.
which I think he did. I
Yeah.
think that movie is bad, but he like carries a lot without saying anything and sort of looking at things and taking in the world around him.
That movie was a real bummer. That was a real letdown.
It's very bad.
Yeah.
I was so amped for it because it was Duncan Jones.
Yeah.
And it had a great cast.
Yeah.
What
else?
I don't know.
What else?
It's real quick from you. Get the edge of spoilers. Casting Paul Rudd in that role was a big mistake.
Yeah, really dumb.
Yeah. Was that this year?
Yeah.
Oh, we should probably talk about that in our next thing.
Yeah,
too.
we should. Yeah. What's the next trailer?
Genesis 2.0.
This one I didn't see. You'll have to just describe it to me.
It's just it's Jurassic Park the documentary.
Okay.
Basically, it's. I couldn't tell if it was a documentary. Like I thought it was like a found footage movie at first because they're kind of seeming like, oh, we're going to clone mammoths, but something's going to go wrong. It's just about cloning mammoths.
That's funny.
And it seems like it'll probably be pretty interesting because you get to see the guys that are out there in the tundra, like struggling to find mammoth remains, and then you also see the people in the lab.
Do we do it? Do they clone the mammoths?
I don't know. I think they're still. I'm sure we would have heard about it.
Well, I feel like there's always news about this shit, and we're always like a little closer.
Yeah, they'll like clone some tissue and like.
But they're definitely covering the John Hammond side of it, where they're asking them like the moral repercussions of doing this, because otherwise it's not an exciting documentary, I guess.
Well, yeah, because I mean, at least. It's the thing that they accidentally stumbled upon in the most recent Jurassic World, where it's like, well, we have all this cloning technology. Can you bring back my dad?
Yeah.
Right. Wouldn't it be amazing if this documentary, they're like, yeah, so we got this big mansion that we're working out of.
And
it's just the second Jurassic World movie.
I want to watch this documentary just so I could be like, oh no, that guy's your Nedry. How do you not see it?
I can see the wheels. I can see the wheels turning behind his beady little eyes. He's going to roll on you. Oh, man.
Yeah, it should be fun in terms of documentaries.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
That, disappoints me and most people when they find this out about me is that I don't watch a lot of documentaries. I think I'm too stupid for a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see almost no documentaries. And I know there are a lot of good ones, and I know some of the best work is happening in documentaries right now. And I wish I could be part of your nice conversations when you talk about them at dinner parties, but I just can't because I'm stupid. And I'd rather watch a Spider-Man movie for a third time than watch a documentary about war or mammoths. They're all important things.
Right.
I don't know why I am the way that I am, but
no, I
just rewatch Scrubs instead, and you'll be smarter than me. And then one day we'll both be dead, so who cares?
Yeah.
It's hard to start them.
Yeah.
Because like every documentary I've watched, I've been like, that was very interesting. But when it's like, yeah, watch National Treasure 2 or some documentary on, I don't know what.
The chocolate industry.
Yeah. And it's just like I bet that's really fascinating, but I don't. Yeah, I don't.
But
I just
Nicolas
can't press
Cage
play.
is hunting for treasure.
Exactly.
And someone could certainly tell me, the chocolate industry is way more fucked up than you thought. I'm like, I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
Pass on the movie, though.
I accept everything that you're saying.
I never saw like Blackfish because they're just like, yeah, it's about how they're terrible to orcas in SeaWorld.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Yeah, I know.
I guess I kind of always knew that.
I don't go to SeaWorld because of that. Like, so it's like,
my parents would never take me to SeaWorld.
Yeah.
And I think that was the reason. They never told us why, but I'm pretty sure it's because they're just...
Yeah, no one wants to...
They're keeping these animals prisoner and making them dance for you.
Yeah.
I also...
like a Russian czar.
I also retroactively justify being too poor to go on vacation when I was a kid. You know why my parents probably never took me to Jamaica? War-torn country.
Yep.
I mean, it wasn't like a thing that constantly came up, but I do remember asking my parents if we could go to SeaWorld at one point, and they were like, no.
Yeah.
They got a few roller coasters eventually.
Yeah, they got some shit.
Yeah. But yeah, it's mostly just asshole dolphins.
Just go to like Busch Gardens where they don't have captive animals that are forced to perform.
Right. Should we go to the next one?
Yeah.
Sure.
Outlaws. No one's seen this trailer. This trailer has like 40 views on it.
It's like a debut. It's an A24 movie, which is probably the only reason.
Great sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. They only debut like one trailer a month. And
it's a debut filmmaker too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's about a biker gang. It looks like a gritty action thriller involving a biker gang. It might be fine. I aggressively don't care about biker gangs.
Yeah, the movie is sort of framed with the handsome protagonist's beautiful, encouraging wife telling him that he should be in charge of this biker gang, and just like, I'm I'm drowning in too many. I'm 32 years old. There's been too many movies where a woman's role in the movie is just to talk about how great her strong, proud, handsome husband is, and how he should be running things, and how he's the best. Like I don't.
Yeah,
we have that. Like her main thing can't be
right.
You should be in charge, Daddy. Like
I've seen enough versions of Lady Macbeth.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. It's also it's about a motorcycle gang, and I think gangs are stupid. It's like adults who, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff with cycling culture that I completely don't understand.
Sure.
And I don't want to shit on all gangs or like fraternal organizations. Friends are important.
Sure.
Whatever. But motorcycle gangs are very stupid to me. They all dress in leather jackets because that's what bikers do, and they all have beards and tattoos, and like. I'm not against beards. I'm not against tattoos. But like you're fucking adults and you're dressing up for this gang, and someone's like, I want to be the president of the gang, but I'm the president of the gang. You can't be the president of this gang anymore. It's like, what do you guys do around like tax season? What the fuck is going on? How do you have all this time to just be in gangs?
And then you throw violence in there.
Yeah.
As someone who obsesses about movies, it's silly for me to say, but like, yeah, any like people who are passionately around like an object that they own. Where it's like, it's the same with like, I don't eat meat, but then like hardcore vegetarians or people who have like any problem about it. It's just like, what could be more boring about like than like what people eat?
Yeah.
Like who gives a fuck? It's the same with that. It's like, this is my transportation device. Yeah. And it's like, I don't care, man.
Yeah, I'm going to build my entire life around this.
Like a code of ethics around it. And the scheming girlfriend, love interest character is like, I know that he's the president and he'll be the president when he gets out of jail, but you should fight for control. Or like just move. I don't know. Move to somewhere where bikes don't matter. Just
right.
Go to a normal town. Make other friends.
Move to where you're the only biker, then you'll be president.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's A24, which is like we said.
It's the only thing. The only reason I'm like, maybe I'll watch this.
I didn't recognize a single person in that movie.
Oh no, I think they're all like newcomers.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah, sure.
New people.
The getting out of jail biker president sort of looked like Chuck Liddell.
I thought it was Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
But, like, man, he got really small for this role. Just a different guy.
Yeah, different dude. Not Chuck Liddell. It's not the Iceman. Yeah, what's the next one?
Where'd you go, Bernadette?
This is...
What the fuck is that?
This has only one reason it's on here. This is like it's like a family comedy, it looks like. It's like... it's Kate
Blanchett and Billy Crudup and their genius daughter.
Yeah.
And then something happens where apparently Kate Blanchett is secretly like a spy or a government agent or something,
right.
And she disappears. Mm-hmm. So Billy Crudup and his genius daughter have to like try to find her.
Right. It's directed by Richard
Linklater. Rewrite history, Billy Crudup. I know that you walked out on Mary Louise Parker when she was pregnant. You fucking jerk.
He's a jarring man to
Billy
see.
Crudup. Yeah.
Every time I see him in a trailer, I'm like, oh God, it's Billy Crudup.
Yeah. I have to bring up the Mary Louise Parker thing because it should not be forgotten.
Sure.
And I just always need to qualify it, but I do really like him as an actor. I saw him in Broadway many years ago, and he was so good.
He's a good actor.
But he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he sounds like a bit of a D-hole there. But yeah, Richard Linklater directed this, he's a good director. So
quietly directing lots of movies all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about this right before you showed up. There's like watching a trailer for a Richard Linklater movie, you could be like, this could be fucking anything. Mm-hmm. Like, because his movies are just across the board, like every single kind of movie.
Yeah. He just wakes up and spins a wheel.
just terrified with this burden. That's like, they're gonna let me make another movie. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, but I just got to keep doing it until someone stops me.
When is someone gonna stop me?
Guess I'll stick Alex Jones in this.
Ziggy says you have to make School of Rock 2. Yeah, because the trailer very much has the tone of like an upbeat.
Is that Kristen Wiig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like an upbeat comedy.
Right.
Like a family comedy. It's weird.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, because the plot itself seems like it's more, I guess, sinister, more serious.
The plot itself is the plot of A Simple Favor.
Mm-hmm. Great flick.
I haven't seen it yet.
I
really wanted
that
to.
Either. Yeah, I want to see that.
But it's just, lady just disappears.
Yeah. This is not normally the way that I review movies, but it just must be said. Blake Lively's fashion in that movie, great.
Nice.
Yeah, no, she looks great.
Everything that she's wearing, she's an icon. She's a style icon. Love it. listeners at home, I'm wearing the same jeans I've been wearing for 3 days and flip-flops. So take my word for it.
Yeah.
This guy knows fashion.
All right, that's it for trailers, you guys.
Yeah.
And we can finally move on to, I mean,
Just like
for
news.
our news stories, specifically
This
first
is
look.
the most exciting thing.
Yeah, at the Disney live-action Aladdin.
There's a lot to unpack with it.
Yes.
There's a tremendous amount
This
to talk about with fucking Guy Ritchie's Aladdin movie.
I'm going to
This-
start
Yeah, go ahead.
with one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the Entertainment Weekly first looks that's come out a lot about a lot of movies, they always make it look way worse. I'll say that. They're always badly photoshopped. I remember, and Terminator Genesis was a bad movie, but the first look for it was hilariously bad. It was like badly photoshopped, like their heads were the wrong size, stuff like that.
Much like this film.
Yeah.
It's weird that, like, here's the first look, and everyone in, like, the article is still saying, yeah, don't worry, the genie's gonna be, like, blue and magical. We just haven't done that yet. All right, then don't take a picture of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because
don't take a picture of Will Smith just fucking squatting on a set. It's like, he's gonna be replaced with cartoons, don't worry.
yeah, because right now it just looks like Will Smith is in a racist outfit.
Yep.
Yeah, is he going to be replaced because they put that racist outfit on him? So some of that's going to stay. Is it that, or did Will Smith demand that outfit to get into character?
I hope it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's funny pull quotes from that article and just alarming red flag things. One of the funny things was an executive saying, this version of the genie is sort of like a mix between Fresh Prince and Hitch. And like two things.
Ooh.
Just say it. Will Smith.
Yeah,
just say we hired Will Smith to do a Will Smith thing.
There's virtually no difference between The Fresh Prince and Hitch.
Right.
He
It's
is, well,
the same guy.
He is going to hitch Aladdin. That's the whole
Yeah,
thing.
well, because he does.
thing.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
And the other part of that was like, Hitch? You want
That's
people
your
exci-
pull?
You want people excited about your Aladdin movie, so you're like, don't worry, he's gonna be bringing some of that Hitch magic to his genie performance.
The interviews around
That movie from a decade ago.
the interviews around this and Lion King, because I was reading an interview with some executive that had to reassure everybody that the Lion King will in fact have original shots in it, because that was one of the things he was like, don't worry, we actually like did new things for this one. And it's like, it's the most bummer interviews ever.
Oh yeah,
And
I
then-
saw something with one of the original screenwriters of The Lion King. They're like, I'm not
Yeah, they
super thrilled
Don't
with
love
it.
that I'm not getting paid for them to make Lion King again.
They asked him about that, and he gives the most generic answer of just like, well, people have been adapting stories since the dawn of time. And
you
this is
piece of
and
shit.
It's like you're doing their movie again.
Yeah, it's the same fucking movie, you goddamn goblins.
Then there's...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say there's the behind-the-scenes featurette for this, which is, again, if you watched it, it's the actors being like, yeah, it's just so big and everything's so great. Like, it's just like these really generic phrases they're using that aren't saying anything specific about it.
I don't love Guy Ritchie all the time. I think he's pretty hit and miss, but some of his things
Very much so, yeah.
I truly enjoy. But he did a thing that I want to talk about because I think about it a lot. In this interview, he was saying... I was attracted to this movie. Really, it's I have a 5-year-old daughter now, so the ability to make something for her was really appealing to me. Which, cool. Like, what a fun way to spend $170 million of a studio's movie is that you have a 5-year-old daughter.
Yeah, you got a kid that wants to see it.
My daughter doesn't like Snatch. She's too young for Snatch on Lock, Stock, so I figured I'll make an Aladdin for her. Like, cool. Good
Cool, man.
justification for making a fucking movie.
Yeah,
It reminds
Sinking
me...
2 years of your life.
There was
into
an
a project.
Onion article that was like fatherhood ruins another stand-up comic. And that kind of reminds me with filmmakers. That was another... Guy Ritchie also says he's going back to doing crime films. Like he has his next one coming up is more like his original stuff. And it feels like every interview on this movie and Lion King are people going, no, don't worry. Like it's all apologetic and like, no, it'll be fine.
It's all telling us not to worry because this movie looks like dog shit.
And so this is the
like they all look dumb as hell.
Guys, don't worry. The genie's gonna be blue. Okay, so that's
It
one
looks
thing.
like looks like a
It's one.
It looks like a bad theater production of Aladdin. It really does. Everyone looks like an asshole.
I love that everybody thinks Jafar is really hot because they're doing like the opposite. Like it is like looking at all these pictures. I'm like, who's that Jafar guy? I want to hang out with Jafar. He seems like a cool guy. The
Like,
rest of these
don't
people
make
look like
Jafar
maniacs.
more handsome
Right.
than Aladdin.
I feel so uninspired by a lot of the casting for this. And like, forgive me if the cast is listening. This is a big break for them, but I just remember for like months leading up to the casting where the studio was like, yeah, we're trying to cast a non-white actor for Aladdin, but we just can't find one. I feel like,
Really?
You're looking wrong. I bet you're looking wrong. I bet you're doing something very wrong.
Really?
Been
'Cause I can
going through
think
my
of
Rolodex.
several right off the top of my head. Like,
Man, yeah,
It
Guy
just-
Ritchie needs to fucking stop this.
I feel like a lot of filmmakers do say like, oh, none of the movies that I make my kids can see, so I wanted to do this, which I guess is an adorable thing for like, that's a fun luxury you have if this is the kind of
right.
job you have, but it still feels like you're not going to make a good movie that way. I don't
See,
think
no.
you're making a thing for your daughter. You're not being called to tell this story or feel like you can bring something to it. She's like, my daughter's not impressed with any of the stuff that I do, and she's still mad that I'm not married to Madonna anymore. I don't know, so I figured
Right.
I'd make her an Aladdin movie. That'll
yeah,
shut
you're
her
right. Also,
friends
like,
up.
your daughter probably doesn't know what Aladdin is.
But that it is
Like-
it's quite it's pretty much the fucking filmmaker equivalent of taking a kid to Disney World just to make them happy, because like people like Scorsese did that too. He was like, I want to make a movie that my kids and grandkids can
but he
watch.
made Hugo.
But he made Hugo. He told an original story that was really seemed close to him, and it was good. This guy, he's just like, yeah. So someone said, hey, you want to do Aladdin? I was like, yes, and that was that. You know.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
just like it's not anything close to Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Aladdin's kind of like a street criming guy.
Mhm.
Like, that would have been the answer I would have expected Guy Ritchie to give. Like, well, you know, Aladdin's kind of like a lot of the characters that I've had in my previous films.
Right. I'm very excited about scenes of him running around doing crimes in Agrabah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the Guy Ritchie thing that I'm going to do. There's a flying carpet. I'll figure that out later. But we're doing the crime stuff.
I think I've said this before. I wish they leaned into it and it was just as Jason Statham
Yeah.
as Aladdin.
Oh, yeah. That's been,
And it's just like,
yeah.
in like a tank top, like not even looking like
Yeah.
maybe like a racist hat and like just the British accent running around.
Or make Jason
Just beats
Statham
the
Jafar.
crap out
Yeah.
of Jafar. Oh yeah, or make him Jafar.
Or make him Iago.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
who's Iago? Do we know?
Don't know.
I'm guessing not Gilbert Gottfried.
No.
A real missed opportunity there. I really hope this... It won't, because Lion King is going to come out 2 months after it, and fucking all of the assholes in the world are going to trip over themselves to go watch The Lion King. But I really hope...
Listen, as someone whose direct boss is voicing the talking bird in Lion King, I think it looks great and it's going to be awesome.
The casting
you
is
better
the casting is wonderful, but it's like,
yeah.
and then it's also just James Earl Jones
just
again
James
as
Earl Jones again,
as
which is-
Mufasa, because
I
fuck
love
you,
it.
give
I
us your
love it
money.
so much.
Yeah.
I love it
It's
so
like-
much. I
it's-
don't care.
It's the most
so
cynical
great.
shit. Yeah, like the cast is great, but it's like it's the same movie you saw 25 years ago.
This is all the frustrations, because I had this with Beauty and the Beast too, is that it's I know why they're making it, and then I sat down in the theater and I'm like, okay, and then they begin the first song and I'm like, why am I feeling emotional right now? Fuck you, movie. Like, it's that where it gets me. The trailer got me.
Because it's a good movie.
I know,
And they're
and
just-
like it's mean, but it works, and I know like the bubble should break at
I
some
hope Aladdin
point.
bursts the bubble, or at least really, because it looks like such dog shit. And Aladdin's not quite. I mean, Aladdin's pretty well loved, but it's not at the same level as Beauty and the Beast or The Lion King.
Right.
So
I mean, I think it's just they should treat them like remasters and release them at a limited price.
Yeah.
Like just like games, just like this one's half the price of the original. I don't know.
I agree.
fucking Aladdin.
I don't know, man.
It looks so. Yeah. Oh man.
We'll see what the trailers.
It looks like such dog shit.
Even and all like the coded language around like, yeah, Will Smith's bringing a real urban flair to the genie. Like, he's gonna rap. It's fine. Just say he's gonna rap. Like, it's okay.
We
I
expect
understand.
him to
He's
rap.
gonna rap.
He better rap.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
else would you cast Will Smith as the genie?
Yeah.
He has a whole song.
Yeah.
Have him Fresh Prince his ass to that. That's why you cast him.
This is probably the meetings that went into pre-production has probably the most nightmarish meetings that I would have loved to see, of just when they were throwing out ideas and stuff. Like it's
I don't know what you say to reassure Will Smith that this is going to turn out fine.
Right.
Like, I'm glad he's doing it because I like Will Smith so much, but he's a smart guy, and it seemed like this was a bad idea every step of the way. Like, who sat him down and was like, don't worry. You're not going to look stupid
Right.
in our live-action Aladdin movie that shouldn't exist. You're going to come out great in it.
They were probably like, don't worry, here's the money.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it was like, thank you. All right, next thing is for another first images of HBO's Deadwood film.
Sure.
This will sound very contradictory to everything I've said about why are they making another Hellboy? Who's this for? Shut up, Deadwood's for me.
Well,
I don't
no.
care.
Well,
it shouldn't exist,
it
but it
continues
is.
the story.
Yeah, because Deadwood got
ended.
canceled.
Yeah, and it can. Yeah, I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different. It's not the same.
I think so too, but that's because I'm the hero in my
Right.
story.
Well, I mean, just like objectively, Deadwood ended earlier than it was meant to, and there was
Right.
still more story to tell. And this is actually taking place 10 years later, and
Right.
it's going to continue the story that we left in the series.
Well, my only objection is that the story at the end of season 4, there's like a very immediate problem they're having.
Yeah.
I don't
Hearst
want
is
to.
coming back with
Yeah.
with his men, right?
Yeah, it's
That
Hearst.
Hearst, yeah.
And so it's going to be 10 years later, and it's going to like begin with them like, well, we took care of Hearst 10 years ago anyway.
it might be in a prologue.
Yeah. So
First
like,
10 minutes or so. We'll
I would love it if they just did. They'll never do this because it's David Mills, but it would be great if it was 10 years later and it's just Hearst and Al Swearingen like on rocking chairs on a porch. Like, remember when we were not best buds? That was weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, fun to share the town, right?
Hey, remember we were going to kill each other?
That was wacky. How do we even resolve that? I don't think it's important. Cool. Look, it's Bullock.
I could just watch. Yeah, I could just watch a shitload of fucking Al Swearingen. Like,
Yeah.
That's sort of it. Is that Deadwood is always just watching the characters, so it's like, yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
give me 2 more hours of it.
Yeah.
I love that it was a first image that I didn't need because they're like a first set images from Deadwood, and it's just Al Swearingen being Al Swearingen looking mad at something.
Right.
And it was like, I guess I probably could have drawn that from memory.
the images are Ian McShane looking exactly the same, and Timothy Oliphant with a gray mustache.
Yeah, his mustache is his
he's-
angry
'cause-
mustache is older.
Because he's slightly older.
He might. It's hard because there's so many good characters, but I loved his character only because he seemed like the only person to be aware that he was in a time that sucked. Like he just seemed
He's
always
angry
so
all the time,
angry
yeah.
about being there.
I feel like I don't know any of the behind the scenes stuff, so I don't know if any of this is true. But it truly seems like, yeah, we'll get Timothy Oliphant. He's handsome, and he'll be like our main character. And then they just decided, no, he's like crazy and mean and angry all the time. That'll be his thing. Al Swearingen's the main character.
Yeah.
Like, there's not really a good guy in this show. He beats the shit out of EB.
I
For
thought the
no
good guy
reason.
was just the exasperated doctor.
Well, EB sucks.
Yeah. He's so great.
Yeah.
I love Deadwood.
I gotta watch it again. I think I already watched it this year.
I've seen it so many times,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen it this year, so I should.
Do it. Okay, this was shocking to me. The next bit of news is the first images for the Shaft sequel is
Yep.
out.
How
I
did I
didn't.
not know they were making a Shaft?
I didn't either. Was this the announcement too?
I don't know. I knew about it.
Okay, starring Samuel L. Jackson. This
Yeah.
is a sequel to the 2000 Samuel Jackson Christian Bale Shaft
Yep. Jeffrey Wright.
that no one asked for, but I'm so happy is here. Like, it's such a wonderful surprise.
Is he the main Shaft, or is he like I've got?
No,
young
there's new Shaft.
Yeah,
There's new
It's
Shaft.
like Son of Shaft.
It has all 3 generations of Shaft in it. It's got
that's
it's
good.
got Richard Roundtree, it's got Sam Jackson, and it's
Yeah.
got this new guy who's going to play new Shaft.
This is fantastic.
John Shaft Jr., Jesse T. Usher.
I mean,
All right.
Sure.
fuck yeah.
Great.
I don't have
think
much
it's-
to
isn't it
say
sti-
about this.
Isn't it
It's
still
just-
being made by John Singleton?
I don't know. I just saw like Shaft 2 is a thing, and it's just like, oh, this is the best.
Kenya Barris
best
wrote it.
thing
This is
ever.
gonna be fucking great.
Yeah. Shaft 2.
Shaft 2.
Oh, man.
19 years later.
Yeah. Whatever.
What a weird idea.
Sure.
All right, moving down the list then. Netflix's next Black Mirror thing is apparently going to be a film, which to that I
does
say
that
isn't
mean?
every episode
Every
of Black
episode is
Mirror.
a film.
Mean. What are you talking about?
They could just say that every episode. This is gonna be an episode of Black Mirror that's 20 minutes longer.
Yeah, here's my theory is that maybe they were like had budget problems. They're like, we can only make one episode.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let's call it a film, and then we'll keep going.
That might be true.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like an Emmys thing or what? Like trying to get into a different category or
Maybe.
or whatever the hell.
Maybe they're trying to get. You think they're trying to get an Oscar? Is this Netflix again? Netflix has been pushing for this shit.
Yeah, they have been. I don't know. It might. I mean, it seems like it might just be a budget thing.
Yeah. That's a thing that I think will. I mean, budgets will never go away. That'll always be a problem. That's why you're going to get 6 episodes of Game of Thrones that are 2.5 hours each.
Right.
It's because then you don't have to pay people
Per episode.
But making something a movie or a TV show or episodic or limited run series, that's so much industry language that I think should just go away, that like no one cares about. Like the people who watch Black Mirror aren't thinking about it. The people who watch things like on streaming devices almost exclusively, almost everybody that I know watches stuff on their computer. A lot of people I know watch everything that they watch on YouTube, like period. And not like vlogs, but like, oh good, there's Scrubs is on YouTube now, so I'm gonna watch that. So it's distinctions that aren't really gonna matter to much of your audience.
Right.
Black Mirror is a movie now. Instead, like, I don't fucking give a shit. I put on my Netflix machine, and sometimes it's Stranger Things, and that's however long that takes. And sometimes it's Bent Neck Lady, and sometimes it's Black Mirror for some amount of time. I don't know what time is. Shut up.
Yeah.
I think Netflix is really
put my content box on, and then I get things.
Yeah, Netflix is really good at like spacing it out so that every time you turn on Netflix, there's at least like one new thing. And you're like, oh, cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Black Mirror anymore. I'm getting kind of sick of Black Mirror, to be honest.
Yeah.
The last season,
I get it.
Well, the last season
technology
had like
bad, huh?
Yeah, it had like 4 episodes.
But
that was
what
like,
if the phone was using you?
Right.
Like, I got it.
They had like 4 episodes that were like, but what if the things in computers were alive? And it was like what if we put a person in a computer? Yeah, and it was like, no, you said this already. You said this several times.
I think there are a bunch of really strong Black Mirror episodes. And
of course.
Ones, and I'm happy that I came to that show late and never felt too loyal to it. That I just like. The first episode I saw was USS McAllister, which is great.
Ooh,
and that is for sure a movie. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
And then after that, I just went to my friends and I was like, what are the good... Give me only the good episodes of Black Mirror. Because I saw this one and I liked it. And they gave me a list and I watched those. And that's it. And I don't feel like...
That's the best way of doing it.
Completist. I don't feel that way about this show.
No.
Some people were like, this one's pretty bad. All right, then I'm not going to watch it.
I'm not going to spend an hour watching it.
That's the thing. It's just like the Twilight Zone, where there's some where you're like, well, that was really dumb.
Yeah.
And there's some that are great. The difference is these last like an hour and a half.
Right.
And it's like, I didn't need to spend that much time on this.
The quality to... I've watched the entirety of the Twilight Zone, and the quality to crap ratio is pretty high. Like it's way like most of them are pretty good. Right. And they also didn't do the weird thing of limiting themselves to one thing. Like we're Twilight Zone, but only for technology. I'm like, all right, there's like 6 ideas. Yeah.
All right, final news.
Mm-hmm.
This is more for the listeners, our direct gainfully unemployed people. But Steve Dash, the Jason from Friday the 13th Part 2, has passed.
Oh.
The one with
Rest in Paradise.
Yeah,
that's a pretty heartbreaking that you limited that news to a few people.
Only
who
for
might
them.
care.
No, it's because we've watched all the Friday the 13th with our patrons. So
most of them.
Yeah. So yeah, he was the Jason with the burlap sack on his head. Mm-hmm. That iconic burlap sack.
Funniest Jason.
He is the funniest Jason. Yeah. He's responsible for like the lumbering through the woods shots in that movie. So.
Yeah, and standing on a chair and having it break for no reason.
Yeah.
He gets kicked in the balls in that movie.
That's fun.
It's pretty hilarious.
It is the funniest one because the fucking burlap sack over his head.
Yeah,
like,
it's
that's
great.
Ridiculous.
It's great. So yeah, rest in paradise. Yeah. Rip rip.
Yep. Steve Dash.
Steve Dash.
So
rip.
Yeah. That's how we do it, man.
Rip rip. All right. We're on to movies that deserve more hype.
Yeah. Woo. I didn't actually get to watch this trailer.
There's no trailer.
Oh, good.
Yeah, there is no trailer. There's just a poster. Normally Okay. This film is a roller coaster because it seems like it could be like
the title is a roller coaster.
Yeah. All right, I'll start with the title. It's The Man Who Killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot.
The Bigfoot is very good.
The poster, it looks like it's like ironic Grindhouse, but then you learn that it stars Sam Elliott, and it's like, okay, that's someone who's way too good. It's got 100% with audiences and 85% with critics. It's coming out February 9th. of next year.
Okay.
The synopsis.
And not this year.
Yes. The synopsis is, I guess I could read this whole thing. Since World War II, Kevin Barr has lived with the secret that he was responsible for the assassination of Adolf Hitler. Now, decades later, the U.S. government has called him on again for a new top-secret mission. Bigfoot has been living deep in the Canadian wilderness and is carrying a deadly plague that is now threatening to spread to the general population. Relying on the same skills that he honed during the war, Kelvin must set out to save the free world yet again. So, it's also got Ron Livingston as well.
Sure.
Yeah, and Sam Elliott hunting Bigfoot.
Yeah.
This sounds delightful.
I guess.
Well, here's some more details to it. And digging, the reason I found out about this movie early on is there was a casting call in Massachusetts. My parents saw.
That's where they got Sam Elliott.
Yeah, and they and it was for this movie. It's being shot in Montague, Mass, which is doesn't matter. It's Western Mass. It's I used to work there, and it turns out the director lives there, and then so does the visual effects artist and producer, which is fine, except. It's fucking, what's his name? Douglas Trumbull is the visual effects and producer who did the visual effects for Blade Runner, Star Trek the Motion Picture, and 2001 A Space Odyssey.
Ooh.
Yeah. He is a visual effects legend. Like, he is responsible. That opening shot in Blade Runner, that's him.
Okay.
The ending of 2001, going through the thing, that was him. I think he worked on The Fountain as well, I remember. He works on, like, very neat practical effects. So he is producing and making the visual effects for this Sam Elliott hunting Bigfoot movie.
Right.
So that is insane to me. And I think the only reason he is because he lives in Montague, Mass, or around that area, and so they were like, "Hey, we're making this film."
Yeah,
he was like, "Sure, I'll help." I don't know.
There's a chance it'll be very good. Like there's always a chance that things will be very good. I have like a knee jerk aversion to a lot of these nuff said movies where it's an assemblage of random things that they think you like because they don't care or respect or have any real thoughts about the internet, but just like, look, it's zombies fighting Santa Claus. Enough said. You'll see it, you fucking idiot, right?
Yeah, fuck you.
And Sam Elliott killing Hitler and then Bigfoot is very much one of those wink wink enough said movies. Right. Usually I do not like.
Well, they usually wind up not being good.
Yes, I agree. There's just certain details of this that elevates it to me. I
don't know if you
Sam
really...
Elliott and Douglas Trumbull is like people who shouldn't be working on something like this.
It's clear to me that you thought Douglas Trumbull was a name that was going to carry a lot of weight with me.
No. What?
But guys, hold on. I didn't tell you who's doing the VFX.
He's a VFX, like in the VFX world, he's a big deal. And so it's just really cool that he's on this,
There's
considering
a chance it
what
could be
he's
really
done.
like wild and surreal.
Yeah. For sure the visual effects are going to be great. But he's also, the fact that he's producing it too makes me really like, I don't know. I'm very curious about this fucking movie. And if it's just like 2 hours of Sam Elliott stalking through the woods looking for Bigfoot, then I'm good.
I mean, before we get too far on the train of Sam Elliott's too good for this, he wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't good.
The Ranch.
The Ranch. I will remind you that he remains on The Ranch.
What is The Ranch?
The Ranch is a Netflix show that was like designed in a lab for like
they all
viewing
are.
habits.
They all
and
are.
they're like people want a sitcom starring Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson.
Oh no!
And Sam Elliott as the father, and they take over this ranch together. And Ashton Kutcher's like a millennial, I guess. I don't know. And Sam Elliott's a father who doesn't care for his lifestyle. And it's going into its like second season. Danny Masterson is gone because rape allegations.
Right.
So he's off the show. So now it's just Ashton Kutcher and Sam Elliott.
That sounds excruciating.
Working out their problems on this ranch.
That sounds like hell. That's what hell is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell is Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
Right. Hell is Ashton Kutcher.
That famous quote.
Oh man.
Was it Voltaire?
Yeah.
Famous Voltaire quote. Hell is Ashton Kutcher.
I don't know. I guess I'm waiting to see the trailer, but I think this is the fact that it's getting such good critic and audience reviews is the other part. Because this has been in festivals, and I'm really damn curious to see what it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Why would I not?
Right.
I mean, if the trailer is absolutely terrible,
Right.
maybe.
I
But
don't know,
it
probably
comes
still,
to
I'll probably still see it. Like
Yeah.
I should caveat everything because I've been so negative and cranky on movies, but I'm gonna see it all. They're still getting all of my money.
Right.
Don't worry, everybody.
That's why I'm cranky.
right.
It's like, God damn it, I'm gonna see this, and it's not gonna be good.
I had stuff to do that week. February 9th. Fuck.
It's coming straight to streaming, which
All right. Sure.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Not a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
I'll still try to
Bigfoot.
see it in theaters. Like I saw Buster Scruggs in theaters,
Oh, nice. I wish I saw that in theaters.
and I saw the Mowgli in theaters too. Which I
Oh,
thought
really?
Was good. Yeah,
How is that good?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's fun to look at. And as far as like, I think it's a pretty good answer to the why are we still making Jungle Book
Jungle
movies
Book movie, sure.
question, because it's different. It's not Favreau's and it's not the cartoon. I know that Gritty gets a lot of
Is it
eye
like-
rolls, but it is darker and more serious, and like some of it's very scary. And there's no point in this movie with talking bears and panthers with Christian Bale's face that I'm taken out of it for not believing it. It's
Is
just
it-
a beautiful looking movie with very serious talking animals.
Is it like the Sam Neill one? Where it's like
Sam Neill one.
that's the one where he's like it's more about the humans.
It's about yeah.
Oh, this is not more about the humans. I mean, we do get more humans than we did in previous Jungle Book movies, but it's really about the jungle itself, you know.
All right.
I feel
Fuck
like the
it.
jungle is a character in this.
I always
I
thought it
wasn't-
was the fifth Jungle Book character.
I wasn't gonna watch it, but I guess I'll watch it.
Sure.
Yeah. I just
I mean,
I've seen more Jungle Books than I need to.
Sure.
But
We've
I
all
guess
felt
I'll
that
see
way.
another. I guess I'll see another.
Right. I mean, I have this lifestyle approach where I see every movie that exists in theaters usually.
Right.
And, it's a wide net that doesn't always catch things. But
Yeah.
every once in a while, I get a Mowgli caught up in there and like, I liked it.
yeah. I really would have liked to have seen Mandy in theaters. It
Yeah.
was only it played in one theater for one weekend around here.
Yeah.
It was
That would've been
really
something.
sucked. Well, that's an episode.
That
Oh,
is
yeah?
an
Yeah,
episode.
that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you. I was really.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep talking. Just
Yeah.
very jealous you guys did the Coen brothers crossover with Buster Scruggs, because I couldn't even listen to that episode because I wanted to talk to the four of you about it so much, and it would make me too mad to listen to it and not be able to jump in.
What did you
I
have a
love that
favorite
movie.
segment?
It's hard to beat the Tom Waits one just in terms of like feeling good at the end of it, which you get so bombarded with things being bad in most of them. But I do think the Zoe Kazan one,
Gorilla got rattled.
Girl Got Rattled, that's
Yeah.
probably my favorite.
Those are the
That's
two.
really good.
It's so sad.
It's very sad.
Yeah. I think those are the two with the most complete stories. They all
Mm-hmm.
kind of have complete stories.
I think
Like
they
they all
I thought
sort of
they
have
all did.
arcs to them. Yeah.
I think the Liam Neeson one was too sad for me.
That
That
was
was because that really
That was punishing.
that one really tricked me, because they show Liam Neeson helping him out in the beginning.
Yeah.
And you really think like that's what a sweet guy. This is a hard life that he's subjecting himself to, and no one else is looking out for this
yeah. It's-
roast beefy O'Eefy from Harry Potter.
Yep. Roast beefy. It's not until like 3/4 of the way through that you realize, oh, they don't speak to each other.
Yeah.
that's
It sucks so bad.
Like,
yeah. I think in terms of narrative, that was the best, most smartly written thing,
Mhm.
because there were little reveals. Like when the other reveals when he buys the chicken, he has a wad of cash.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was like, oh, motherfucker has money this
Yeah.
whole time. Where he starts as a sympathetic character and without any real dialogue, just slowly gets more and more fucking sinister.
Yeah.
yeah.
It also introduced a nightmare that I didn't know I had, which I think I said in the podcast, which is to be strapped to drunk Liam Neeson. Sounds like the most terrifying thing
Yeah.
ever.
That poor kid with his terrible life, and then just one day he's like, "We're going into town."
Yeah.
Oh fuck! Oh no!
You're going to stare at the corner where I get laid.
And Buster Scruggs itself was really good too.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
delightful.
I love that so much, and like that's such a simple story. It's
Yeah.
very very clear. There's always someone who's going to be younger and better than you. It's going to come around and take over your spot.
Yep.
Yep.
And it happened, and then the thing ended. I was like, great. And,
Perfect.
Even though I hate James Franco, I like the James Franco one just because
Yeah.
that's a punchline you write a movie around. That's absolutely
Yeah.
That's the reason you make that is
And-
first time, huh? It's like, yeah, I'd write a
Yeah.
movie around that.
Yeah,
if,
that's,
if I'm Ethan Coen and I stumble on that joke, it's like, okay, yeah, now how do I get there?
It was a real Johnny Depp situation watching that segment, because it's like you're watching it like, fuck,
Yeah.
you're pretty good in this.
Yeah.
Like,
You were well cast and you're doing a good job. You're not making it too James Franco-y.
His fucking face when he's sitting there the second time with the
Yeah.
noose around his head.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a really good job. And then fucking pan shot. Yeah.
pan shot.
That's such a Coen Brothers moment. It's so beautiful.
Yep.
I hope Stephen Root sends them Christmas cards and stuff because they just give him so many gifts with these movies. I know
Oh,
he's
yeah.
talented. He's one of the best character actors to ever live. But to just be Stephen Root and be handed this pan shot script must be like, this is too much, guys. This is really sweet. Thank you for this. This is going to be so much fun. I'm going to be so fucking weirding it into a voice.
Oh yeah, like at this point they must just be like, when they're writing a crazy character, like, well, this is
Steven?
This
Yeah.
is Root. Yeah. This is... Oh man. Well, yeah, we talked a little bit longer about Buster Scruggs. That's totally fine.
That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Sweet. Do you want to plug anything, Dan?
Yeah, where can we find you? Where can we...
I deleted my Facebook. I'm on Instagram, but leave me alone on Instagram. You could probably find me if you just like Google around enough. It's fine. I don't know.
Sure.
Support charities that you care about. I like Children of the Night and the CF Foundation, so look into those if you have some money you want to throw that you haven't already thrown to the Patreon, because support people that you like and charities that you like. I don't
Us
know.
first.
Yeah, these guys
Us first, then the kids.
I think it's I continue to pay attention to all digital trends, and this is just such a scary fucking weird industry that's dying and terrible. And I'm sorry the internet was free for so long, but if you got accustomed to quality things, you have to pay for them now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Support local podcasts.
Yeah.
Unless Elon Musk buys the internet.
Oh God, he's gonna do something stupid, horny with it.
Yeah. He's just gonna flood it with a bunch of thirst trap photos of himself. He's such a fucking tool. Oh my God. All right. I think that's all we got.
All right.
Take it easy, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Yeah,
and
have
shit.
great holidays.
2018's over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Drink more water. Sleep more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been 100-year long year. But take it easy on yourself. All right, say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye. Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.